The Sustainable Development Goals face technical and structural limitations that hinder global implementation, a lack of reliable data, and consistent metrics complicated tracking process while confliction of interest between goals, such as economic growth versus environmental sustainability, create for need changes. Structural and inequality among countries, many developing national lack the infrastructure and financing needed for the CDG. Limited coordination between local, national, and international policies. Also, structural progress as do is a storage of sustainable fundage. Global governance lacks enforcement mechanisms to ensure compliance, and a lack of technical expertise restricts sustainable practice implementation, especially in regions with less developed education system. In conclusion, making the CDG viable will require better data, increased technical capacity, and developing nation, adequate financing, and coordinated policies to reduce conflicts between goals.
In talent management, where they really address to root cause in inequality and poverty in the workplace. On paper, the SDGs include goals like reducing inequalities and promoting decent work, which aligns perfectly with the human resources. But here's the problem: are these goals deep enough and are they effective? So the SDGs are ambitious. No do go like SDG 8, which focuses on decent work and economic growth, and the SDG 10, which targets reducing inequality, are also critical, but they are also back and not blending. Many companies can choose how to implement them. If they implement them at all, without legal enforcement, it is easy for organizations to adopt these goals as a part of their branding without making substantial change. And then there is the reliance of the private sector for this change by outsourcing much of this responsibility to corporations. We risk allowing profits to come before people. For instance, many companies might talk about promoting fair ways, but if there is no accountability, those policies might never become a reality. So while the SDGs highlight important issues, they often don't dig into structural problems without organizations like wage gaps, discrimination, or lack of diversity in leadership roles. So, what can AR do for the SDGs to have a genuine impact? That HR needs to push beyond the surface on demand more than just box ticking. HR leaders be setting measurable, actionable goals, one of that promote fairness, transparency, and inclusivity across all levels of the company. And then means pushing for real policy change, like equal pay, clear promotion paths, and safe work environments. It is not enough to adopt the language of the SDGs. Companies need to live those values. In the end, while the SDGs are good a starting point, they aren't a solution in themselves. Real change requires a commitment from human resources to change shallow implementations and create workplaces that genuinely reflect the sense of the goals, because without that dedication, the SDGs risk becoming another nice idea. Sounds good, but doesn't lead to real progress.
Okay, developing countries face a number of barriers that complex their path to meeting the Sustainable Development Goals. Among the economic barriers, poverty and inequality are perhaps the most common case. These conditions limit the ability of government to invest in basic services such as education and health, particularly and secret of poverty. In addition, the lack of adequate infrastructure, such as transportation network and access to energy, impedance economic growth and hinders access to essential merch and services. Politically unstable and corruption are major style political instability can discourage foreign investment and create an environment that is not conducive to development in a dictatorship, where government institutions of the resources management and lack of accountability. These not only affect the implementation of effective policies, but also undermine public confidence in the authorities. International cooperation present is itself a variable solution to address this challenge through the transfer of knowledge and technology. Development countries can help developing countries acquire the necessary skill to manage their of resources and projects. In addition, sustainable finance is crucial through official development assistance and all the financial mechanisms resources can be channeled to projects that promote social and economic well-being. Okay, on the other hand, strengthening local institutions is fundamental to improving governance. International cooperation can facilitate political reform that promote transparency and reduce corruption. It is also essential to foster inclusive partnerships that involve and sector of society, ensuring that local voice are heard in policy design and implementation. Establishing robust mechanisms for monitor and evaluation is vital to ensure that resources are used effectively. This not only allows progress toward the to be measured, but also ensure the necessary adjustments are made in real time. International cooperation not only provide financial resources, but also offers a comprehensive approach that enables developing countries to address the specific challenges with agreeing with the global. Thank you.
The goals and targets are often vague and difficult measures, leading to potential non-compliance without clear metrics, assign progress becomes challenging. There is a lack of clear responsibilities for countries, allowing them to act freely without strict commitments. This undermines the agenda's effectiveness. Additionally, there are contradictions with the objectives, such as the aim to eradicate poverty versus merely reducing poverty by half, which can create confusion. Critics also point out an ethnocentric bias where development countries are seen as model without questions their unsustainable practice. The agendas don't building nature raises concerns about accountability as countries may not feel compelled to meet their commitments. Finally, issues with data ability and quality hinder effective monitoring of compliance with the agenda's goals.
The Sustainable Development Goals face technical limitations, such as a lack of data and capacity in many countries, and structural challenges, including the need for institutional coordination and sufficient funding, especially in developing countries struggling with debt and instability. Although the CDG aim to reduce poverty and inequality, they are criticized for not fully addressing the structural cause of these issues, and their voluntary nature might weaken their impact. There is also speaking about their ability to promote truly sustainable and equitable development as they rely in part on the private sector, which might prioritize profitable goals or over essential needs. To be effective, the CDG need to be adapted to a specific context involving community participation and rely on international cooperation that strengthens the autonomy of developing countries, allowing for a more realistic and tailored implementation to their needs.